Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very intriguing news where we're actually seeing now the overall biggest populations that are just still kind of going a little bit more on the crazier side when it comes to trying to go and buy and get and receive up the PlayStation 5s. And now, in all surprisingness, we've actually had some huge numbers. We have some kind of intriguing numbers too as well to go look at from like Google search results and all of that. And it kind of goes to show on which places are just still dripping, trying to go and find their consoles. So you have some intriguing stuff too, especially with how big the demand is for some of these regions, and also on top of the fact of it kind of also correlates a little bit too as well with the third-party prices when it comes to Facebook, eBay, and all the other various sellers too as well. So a lot of little various kind of fun stuff to go and talk about. This is always, I think, kind of fun to do it like a deep dive when it comes to other various regions and other various locations to see which places actually, well, just needs their console still. So if any of you guys are brand new, before we fully dive onto this one, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Check on the brand new SSDs down below, currently still on sale. Go check them out before they're overpriced. We have the Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console controller. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well, linked down below. We also have the Weeble and the Coinbase as well on top of that. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all will enjoy the video itself, and always chime in your thoughts and opinions down below. So I kind of want to go and chime on this one because it does kind of seem like we're on like the up and down when it comes to the overall demand, especially here in America. Now, we have had some pretty more chiller side and like third-party prices going down. But ever since we basically have still not had maybe pretty much any drop at all besides a very small target drop, we're still waiting for everything else. And right now it's still kind of up in the air. The demand's kind of bumped up quite a bit, but there's also other regions too on top of that are kind of never really had that downwards turn, and they're still sitting on that $700, $800 range, and it just doesn't seem like it's getting better, especially if you can see how bad it is in America. Well, now imagine other regions basically maybe had like 7 drops total throughout the entirety of the actual restack. So let's go and talk about this, talk about the numbers throughout the world, and talk about everything else intriguing, and as well kind of make sure to go and chime in your own thoughts throughout the video itself. So for this one, funny enough, we actually found a kind of cool little nifty article over here from Metro that did a little bit more of a deep dive itself into more so on the UK and all the other global areas around the country. Well, I guess throughout the world. I guess UK is a country. So as for the UK itself, apparently is like the one area that has the highest demand overall for the PlayStation 5 in the entire world. Which basically is funny enough too, because we also have some other various regions such as like say France and Germany, etc., that their numbers are skyrocketing and people just are not finding restacks. These big retailers are just not getting supply, and Sony themselves are just not really sending out too much stock out for these folks, which is kind of on the scarier side. So as with this, we've actually had a pretty big analysis of search queries, so basically looking at like Google Trends and other various search results to go and see that just pretty much everyone throughout the entire world, especially in the UK, actually has more people desperate to get a hold of the PS5 than literally anywhere else in the world, which thankfully for this, we actually has toned down the United States. Of course, don't forget too as well, we just have so many millions more extra folks that are probably just, you know, the good old boomer side that basically don't even know what a PlayStation 5 even is at this point. But as well with everything else, it's kind of crazy because, well, we're still kind of somewhat easy-ish, I would say ish, to go and buy a PlayStation 5 here in America. Other regions are so dry that people are literally trying to go and still buy consoles, say from Americans or from American eBay or from Amazon America, because it's just so hard for them to get a console in their own home country. So basically at this point, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and S are likely to be significantly easier to get hold of until at least 2023, which would make sense based with all the semiconductor issues and everything else. But as of now, even the casual gamers, and we see this all up on Reddit, up on Twitter, up on memes, up on TikTok, wherever it is, that they all know that it's really hard to still go get a PlayStation 5. It's not as hard as it's been, and a lot more of the restocks have been lasting longer, and third-party prices have gone down. That's only mainly for the America itself too as well. So basically, if you just want to go get, you're playing the odds or trying to get like a random website loading or even a bundle, it's not that bad. But basically now with a study of internet search data suggests that the UK demand is actually, funny enough, the highest ratio, or at least maybe the highest like literacy of looking online and trying to find your consoles in the entire world, with there's over 486 in every 10,000 Britons searching for it now at this point for each month. And as well as also we had France, which is kind of in a second place too. This kind of just based on the trends itself, going and showing that basically it was 352 out of every 10,000 folks are searching for the term, and of course the United States was third, which although we've had a lot more restacks and a lot of folks out there getting their consoles finally and thankfully, it just goes to show that the ratio is so high that there's still like literally thousands upon thousands, if not millions of folks that still need to get their consoles. And especially for these other third-party regions, such as UK and France, as we mentioned, they just don't get as many restocks. Now, the UK has been getting a lot more stock in general, some walk-ins, some normal stock, pretty much other big boy retailers, but places like Poland, Germany, France, like Yugoslavia, wherever you guys want to go be on the lookout for, just aren't getting as many consoles, whether it's just from contracts or whether just Sony doesn't want to focus on those markets. It's kind of crazy to go and see. So all this data was actually compiled. We actually have a actual like little chart I'll show you guys in a second by repair outlet, and is more or less as would be expected, except for the fact that Japan doesn't appear anywhere on the list of the top 20 countries, and the only non-European or North American countries being Australia, New Zealand, and Hong Kong, which would make sense with how many millions of folks live in Hong Kong and the entire continent of Australia. People want to get their consoles. So sales of the PS5 in Japan have actually been so poor so far, and I think they just barely broke over the million while we were looking at the Xbox Series X and S that was basically planted at like a nice solid maybe under 100,000, if even that. It's kind of on the sadder side too. So as well as also in 157 different countries, the study also drilled down to include 69 cities in the UK to see exactly where most of the demand was actually coming from. And for some odd reason, Newry, which I've never even heard of, in Northern Ireland, which was only made a city in 2002, was literally the number one where they had the highest ratio of 24.6 searches per 1,000 people. So it just kind of goes to show that even though not everyone's a gamer, like think of the grandmas that they don't even know what a PlayStation is, or the grandpas that just want to go and still find a Nintendo Switch, maybe if they're lucky for their grandkids. It's crazy to go and see how high of a ratio, because there's just a lot of folks out there. And also, Toro was the most PlayStation 5 friendly city in the world. We're on 253 per 10,000, with Stirling the number one in Scotland and fourth overall in the UK. However, no Welsh cities made it into the list. So I'm going to go and show you guys up this, because they actually made a nice little nifty tracker, which although it might seem a little bit more on the smaller side, so let me move my webcam in the corner. It's just very intriguing to see all these numbers floating around. So for this, you guys can see the absolute number one in the UK, the good old island of UK. And it does kind of seem like this whole overall like area, if I truly had to go and guess, like you guys can maybe chime in your thoughts and comments down below, it kind of seems like it's more favored more on like the FIFA side. So for us in America, good old soccer, good old football, where it seems like a lot of people in the UK, especially in Germany and France, they like, the good old World Cup. They like playing soccer. They like playing the good old foosball itself. And I think they're probably actually, no memes aside, probably one of the biggest like kind of driving factors of they want to get a console. The Xboxes are definitely not doing as many sales when it comes to the UK, when it comes like to everywhere up in Europe. We already kind of know that Sony's been trying their best to go and kind of hit every market. So think India, Australia, especially the United States, especially because we're big money countries. But as well, also they're trying to go hit like the Mexicos, the Brazils, the Chinas, the Australias, the Japans. It just is so hard to mass produce these consoles, and you kind of have to go and divvy on up accordingly. And especially when it comes to America and the UK, you can make good money because you can charge full price for games, full price for PS Plus, full price for PS Now, and you're overall more likely to go make more extra money. First, maybe in Brazil, where you maybe even have to lower the overall cost, just because it's just a little bit on the cheaper side, which kind of makes sense. So I would probably say if I had to go and guess, like I mentioned, I'm sure a lot of folks want to go play like the good old sports games. They want to focus on that one. And with the ratio, though, that's a super high ratio. And it's kind of corresponding to as well with all the third-party prices. We're seeing PlayStation 5 scalpers and basically even Xbox Series X scalpers still being extremely prevalent even in these European countries, with some reports still saying that it's hard for them to even still sell their consoles at like $800. But of course, throughout the general sense, with more restocks and more money and more everything kind of coming on in, it does make the prices go down on these third-party sites the more restocks we get. But we kind of run it now throughout the entirety of the world, besides the UK, which I think has been very active these past like 2 months or so when it comes to restocks. It's still hard. Like you still have to spend a lot of money. Scalpers and botters are still buying stock. And even for these locations, say for us in America, where the ratio is a little bit more on the lower end in comparison to the UK, we still are also seeing people in the UK trying to go and buy and have someone ship the consoles from the United States to the UK. But as well, we've also been seeing that pretty prevalent pretty much everywhere, say in China and on Hong Kong, especially Australia and other foreign areas, think like a Brazil or Chile, where everything is expensive. But the people who are making a lot of money don't mind dropping out the extra $500 just to get the console, because the production and the normal resale values are just not there. So it's always kind of intriguing to go and see where the global demand is for everything. And the fact that the United States is still really high up there, although we've had a lot of really big restocks and a lot of really big console drops in the first place. But it's also crazy to go and see that the per 10,000 units, the UK is pretty much almost twice as basically in demand than America is, which to me, it's kind of surprising. Maybe there's a lot of gamers, like I said, maybe a lot of people who just enjoy the good old FIFA and all that stuff up here in the UK. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. It's always kind of intriguing to go and see like which regions care, which regions want to spend more money, which regions want to get the most restocks. and overall also kind of intriguing to go and see what Sony wants to send their consoles out to as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc, digital console, and controller. We have the Samsung SSDs currently still on sale down below, and same with the Twitter and Twitch stream as well. You guys are going to check those on out. Sign up for that Weeble and deposit $100, get a bunch of free stock, free money. Same with that Coinbase too as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. We'll get more restocks and information in the near future. Love you guys.